Michael Weitzel. I'm being asked to leave by the police because of Donald Trump.
Hey, I'm a Donald Trump dude.
You're a Trump fan?
I'm a MAGA. Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
So I just want
all these coppers you got to deal with them MAGA, but they're not political here. They don't want any kind of political.
So those flags over there,
Those are pre-approved.
those flags over there, those aren't political. So my question to you guys is: are these rules equally enforced on everybody?
And here's my question to you.
And the only way I can do that is if I enforce it with you.
Or you just go out.
Go out and handcuff. So I'm being threatened with arrest. What law am I breaking? What am I?
Well, if we ask you to leave, and you stay.
You're asking me to leave. Am I being evicted from the premises?
You're going to be handcuffed in a minute. You want to make a big...
Okay. We're going to walk up. I'm being evicted from the premises because of Donald Trump. Because we can't wear Donald Trump hats in public. And so now I'm being evicted from the premises. We need a big procession to get me out of here. Trump is not welcome in St. Louis City SC Club. Trump is not welcome here. I'm getting mad. You guys.
We're the ones. We're usually better than that.
I know. We're the ones who don't complain about everything you cry about.
Exactly. I know.
But if we're gonna do this,
policy of the department. We don't want. Oh, you can take the hat off and go back in.
if I take the hat off, I can go back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're already past that.
Really?
We're past that.
You ready to get a chance to?
No, that's fine.
Just for this game.
Just for this game. Okay.
Because I'm hearing nobody more pro.
He gets it. He's just following the rules. It's not his fault.
Okay, well,
But this is the stadium's rules here.
Good, man.
Thank you, sir. Hey. So that's what happens if you wear a Donald Trump hat to a St. Louis City Soccer Club game.
You believe that people are literally being removed from a sporting event for wearing a MAGA hat. All right, so we have a young man attending a soccer event in St. Louis. When the fact that he is wearing a MAGA hat gets him removed because it's making a political statement. Now, what is wrong with making America great again? And mind you, there are other political statements. Let me just say, other political statements are at that game and they don't get removed. But the MAGA hat wearing man gets removed. Don't you see the contradiction and the hypocrisy?
Did you hear about the guy who just got kicked out of the St. Louis FC game for wearing this hat? The Make America Great Again hat. Can you believe it? I feel like this should just be constitutionally just peaceful protesting at this point. I mean, because what's a hat? He wasn't inciting anything. He was just at the game, having fun with his friends, maybe his family, and everybody else was there doing the same thing. Honestly, I think everybody in America should own this hat. Look how amazing it is. It has the American flag, the Make America Great Again, and the 45-47.
So he walks into the park and he's got a Make America Great hat again, supporting the President of the United States of America, not in another country, in the very United States of America, over in St. Louis. And he's asked to remove the hat or leave the park. And then you guys start escorting him out. And they says to the security guard, well, what about the flags over there? And the security goes, oh, well, those flags of other countries or other things that they're representing are pre-approved, which I call bullshit. And then it suggests that, well, if you take off the hat, which is disgusting to begin with, that you'll be allowed to stay. So the man says, I'd like to see the game, even though it's against my rights to wear whatever I want, as long as it's not hurting anybody. So he takes off the hat, and another security guard goes, well, it's past that point. And I would say at this point that I hope our president sees this, and I hope that your stadium is being fueled by federal funding. And I would reach directly out to our president that if it is that they are dependent on any kind of federal funds over at this stadium, that it should be stopped immediately. But regardless, Donald Trump, I think you should also make a reservation to walk into that park with your security, everybody wearing red hats, and remind them where they live, and remind them that this is the United States of America, and remind them that the red hat is supporting our president. Could you imagine this went down in North Korea or Russia or China or Iran or anywhere else? That you're gonna be asked to take the president's hat off and representing the prime minister of your country? Do you know what they would do to those people? You know what would happen to security? I have to tell you, the story's disgusting and it's atrocity. I think it's the most unpatriotic thing I've ever seen. If you haven't seen anyone, attach the video because I think it's just disgusting that security walks up to the guy wearing a Make America Great hat again, representing our country, representing our president, and then you ask him to remove it. To me personally, those are acts of treason. To me personally, those are traitors to our country.
Hello guys, and welcome to the Joe Report, where we get an outsider's view with an insider's clarity. A soccer game, a sea of fans, and one red hat. It's supposed to be a fun night in St. Louis, but for one man, the match ended not with the final whistle, but with security escorting him out. Why? Because that hat had 4 words printed on it: Make America Great Again. Now, the video of the incident has gone viral, sparking a wave of outrage from MAGA supporters across the country and sparking a national debate about politics, sports, and where the line should be drawn. Before we proceed, all credit goes to the creators of these videos. Let me play you a few more and I'll come back with my final commentary.
What do we think about the man that got thrown out of a soccer game because he was wearing a MAGA hat? He videotaped the whole thing. It was actually because he was wearing a MAGA hat only. Paid his money, sitting there peacefully, just watching the game, thrown out for a MAGA hat. I think he should sue. Right here in our own country, Energizer Park, Missouri, you're not allowed to support your president. If he was wearing a Biden or Harris hat, I bet you they wouldn't have thrown him out. Nothing in the rules says you can't wear a hat. Nothing in the rules says you can't wear a political hat. But they decided to change the rules, just throw him out. All these venues or functions that are against Donald Trump have to remember he's the president and he won the majority of the vote. He also won the popular vote. Doing phenomenal things for the country. He's favored by the American people and we love him. We're sorry that you don't. Actually, not sorry. The man even pointed out that they had flags of other countries over there. That was okay. But MAGA, you can't wear an American hat in an American stadium at an American event. Are you upset about this?
So you can play the national anthem, wave the American flag, but if you wear a hat that says Make America Great Again, you must remove that hat or leave the premises. This is not going to help sell tickets. We'll see what happens.
This MAGA fan get kicked out of a St. Louis City soccer game last night for wearing a Trump hat.
Oh my Lanta, sounds like he's being discriminated against because of his political beliefs. Imagine the outrage you would have if they were wearing a Kamala shirt or I'm with her or God bless Barry Obama. Your outrage would be off the charts. Imagine if they were wearing an LGBTQ XYZ shirt. You would be devastated.
And he has a total meltdown on camera.
Hey Bear, we all actually watched the video and meltdown is a strong word. He's just kind of like, so this is why you're kicking me out. I just want to be very clear that I'm being kicked out of the stadium for wearing a hat.
This is a grown-ass man having a temper tantrum.
Hair Bear, I feel like you're kind of insinuating that you are not, in fact, a grown-ass man, which I feel like we can all agree with.
The MLS has a rule that no political signs can be shown at any game.
I mean, the funny thing is, the hat does not say, I love Donald Trump. It just says, Make America Great Again, which I feel like if Donald Trump wasn't delivering that message, everyone on the left could be able to get behind, right? Because theoretically, if you live in this country, you should want it to be great. Because if you don't, GTFO.
Like, buddy, you're not a victim.
I know I didn't just hear a liberal try to tell someone else they're not a victim. The entire left platform is professional victimhood.
I just can't imagine being a grown man like this guy and having this temper tantrum in public and thinking that you came out of it looking good.
Speaking of doing something not coming out looking good, let's go ahead and roll it.
It happened at Energizer Park, home of St. Louis City. Michael Weitzel, a longtime season ticket holder, arrived ready to watch his team play. But just a few minutes into the second half, security approached him. They weren't there to check his ticket or warn him about his behavior. They were there for the hat on his head. The stadium's fan code of conduct is clear. No political symbols or messagings are allowed unless they're part of a pre-approved theme night or official event. That means no campaign hats, no protest signs, no partisan slogans. And on that night, there was no pre-approved political messaging, So Michael's MAGA hat was against the rules. Security calmly told him his options: take off the hat or leave the stadium, and the moment was caught on video. Once that video hit social media, MAGA supporters across the country jumped on the story, framing it as another example of conservative voices being silenced. The incident was reposted thousands of times. MAGA influencers called it outrageous and accused the stadium of blatant discrimination. For MAGA supporters, this wasn't just about one fan, it was about what they see as a broader pattern. They pointed out that stadiums and teams often allow displays like pride flags or political messages tied to progressive causes, especially during themed nights. To them, the fact that those are permitted while a MAGA hat is not proves a double standard. To MAGA world, Michael was a symbol, a man standing up for his beliefs in the face of what they see as selective enforcement. St. Louis city policy isn't unique. Many sports teams, from the NFL to MLB to MLS, have similar rules to keep politics out of their venues, unless it's part of a specific team event. These policies aren't about just one political side. They apply to everyone. Theoretically, someone wearing a Biden campaign shirt will also be told to take it off. The difference is in how people perceive enforcement. MAGA supporters believe their symbols are targeted more often, while progressive symbols are given a pass. Stadium officials argue that all political gear is treated the same unless it's part of a pre-approved theme night. But perception often matters more than policy, especially in the court of public opinion. This incident taps into a much bigger debate. Where does free speech end and where do private property rights begin? The First Amendment protects free expression from government interference, but sports stadiums are private venues. That means they can set their own rules about what fans can wear, hold, or display. Still, that legal fact doesn't stop the cultural firestorm. In today's America, a hat isn't just a hat. For some, the MAGA's cap is a symbol of patriotism and political pride. For others, it's a political rallying cry they don't want injected into their entertainment. But plenty of people didn't see it that way. They pointed to the very first line of the stadium's fan code of conduct, which spells out the no politics rule. They argue that when Michael bought his ticket, he agreed to follow those rules, and in their eyes, the stadium was simply enforcing a policy meant to keep the focus on the game. They also argued that pre-approved displays like Pride banners during Pride Month aren't the same as individuals bringing in political symbols whenever they want. Those events are coordinated and advertised, so fans know what to expect. Without those rules, they warned, the stands could turn into a sea of competing political statements, turning sports into a battleground instead of an escape.
A fan was kicked out of a Major League Soccer stadium in St. Louis this week for wearing a MAGA hat. And his reason for why he thinks he should be able to is the very reason why he can't. Out of 22,500 fans that decided to come to the soccer game to enjoy the sport and cheer on their favorite team, Michael Weitzel decided he needed to bring politics into the game. As background, Major League Soccer has a league-wide policy that does not allow any political symbols in their stadiums. This includes anything that would represent any political party or campaigning. So when this individual brought a MAGA hat into the stadium, he was asked to remove it. He refused to do so, so he was escorted out, based on league-wide policies. And here's the kicker. While being escorted out, he suggested that people with pride flags were allowed in, so he should be. Not that I think MAGA people will ever get this concept, but being LGBTQ+ and simply trying to exist is not political. MAGA has made it political. Naturally, when MAGA doesn't get their way, they claim First Amendment rights violations to cover up their hate. Right-wing extremist influencers have picked up this story, and they're now calling for boycotts of the league and team.
Michael wasn't blindsided. The policy is public. He knew his options in that moment. Remove the hat, stash it away, or leave. He made his choice, and the result was inevitable. The rule was enforced exactly as written. This is where MAGA outrage meets reality. Private venues don't have to let you say or wear whatever you want. They have their own boundaries, and if you cross them, you find out fast. That's why some people are calling this a FAFO situation. Michael tested the rule, and the rule stood. Since the video blew up, Michael's story has been amplified by MAGA media outlets. Meanwhile, the stadium has stood by its decision, pointing back to the policy that's been in place for years. What's ironic is that both sides feel vindicated. MAGA world feels they've exposed bias in how policies are enforced. This wasn't just a man being told to take off a hat. It's a microcosm of how divided America has become. Something as small as a headwear can trigger a wave of national debate because that hat represents so much more than fabric and stitching. It's a political identity, a statement, a flag in the ground, and for some people, it's also a red line. So what do you all think? Was Michael unfairly targeted for his beliefs, or did he knowingly break the rules and face the consequences? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I would love to keep this discussion going. Otherwise, that's it for me. I also have a FAFO playlist, and if you enjoy such kind of content, please click up here and enjoy. Also, consider subscribing, liking and sharing because it helps me grow my channel and helps YouTube recommend this video to a wider audience. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, the Joy Report out.